Let's talk about this concept. I do not drink milk. I refuse to drink milk. However, I consume a lot of dairy. Let's talk about the dairy that I consume, because I pretty much most days I'm eating the same thing every day, okay? So the first introduction to dairy is gonna be about this time, about noon or 2 o'clock, so somewhere between noon and 2 is when I'll have my second cup of coffee. Now my first cup of coffee is just black coffee with a teaspoon of MCT oil, pure coconut fat. But my second cup of coffee is going to have a shot, like 1 ounce of pure heavy whipping cream. Pure fat is what I consume. So it's 200 calories of pure fat. So there's already that. And then when I finally do eat, which is gonna be somewhere around 2 o'clock or 6, depending on if I have 1 meal a day or 2 meals. But what I'm gonna consume is typically an entire cup of full fat cottage cheese. And the last thing I eat every day is a cup of full fat Greek yogurt. So that's a lot of dairy. And then if I have cheese also on the side with whatever meat that I have. So there you go. I consume a lot, but with all of that, it's high fat. There's not really much carbohydrates in that. See, milk, it's kind of like juice. Oh, it's healthy, it's good for you. No, it's a sugary drink. Juice, it's not healthy. It just spikes up your insulin, it increases your carbohydrates for the day, but it's healthy, it's from a fruit. No, you've stripped away the fiber from the fruit. So what that's going to do is you might as well drink a soda, basically. I mean, when it really comes down to it, drink a soda or a fruit juice. It's a trick. If you're fooling yourself if you think that juice is good for you. It's not good for you. Eat the fruit. Now for me, I don't really eat a whole lot of fruit. When I do, I eat whole berries because they're so low sugar amount and such a high fiber amount. That's basically the fruit that I'll have. But see, milk is similar to that. Milk has a decent amount of sugar in it. And typically, people who drink milk to think they're doing it for healthy reasons are going to go with the low fat, which just means there's not fat to balance or counteract the sugar in that milk. So it's not healthy to drink milk. If you want to get the nutrition from dairy, you have to go full fat, which counters out the carbohydrates in there. And your body needs fat anyway, and that will keep you from being hungry. Meanwhile, milk will actually make you hungrier because there's, again, high amount of sugar in there. And most people who drink milk but for health reasons, aren't gonna do the full fat. Most people do skim milk or 2%. If I was gonna drink milk, which I don't, it would be whole milk. But instead, I take it even crazier and I go pure cream, heavy whipping cream. That's the most fat-laden version of dairy that you can get. And same thing with butter. So butter, heavy whipping cream, full fat Greek yogurt, full fat cottage cheese. I go all the way when it comes to fat. But I refuse to drink milk. And I think that might be a little bit ironic. It's funny because for years I was vegan. For like 5.5 solid years, I consumed no dairy. And now I went to where like 2.5 cups of dairy pretty much every day. If you do the cottage cheese, the Greek yogurt, and then like whatever meat I'm eating at dinner, I'll usually have a slice or 2 of cheese with that. It's a lot of dairy that I'm consuming, but no milk. Your thoughts on that belong right here.